This is Solo P1. Solo P1. Flaming Tarmac episode 43. Shall we go again? Fuck yeah. That never gets old. Not for me anyway. And if you watch this podcast, it doesn't get old for you either. Now we've had, finally, Lewis Hamilton. He is now an official Brazilian. An official Brazilian citizen. If Senna was here now, imagine what he would think. Senna's family's there. I think Senna's family was there. But what made headlines? Obviously, Lewis Hamilton becoming a citizen of Brazil. I said this last week, yeah? Go back and watch my video from last year, 2021, the Brazilian Grand Prix race day. Race day. Not the sprint race. Not the qualifying sprint. Forget that. Go back and watch my race day review from 2021. This is what I said. This is why I know what I'm talking about. I'm not being arrogant and I'm not being cocky. Not at all. It's just, I just love Formula One. And as soon as Lewis Hamilton finished that, what a weekend it was for starters. They gave him penalty after penalty, which he didn't deserve. It was Massey. That's when Massey was involved. That's when Massey was running the FIA and all the decisions. Because nothing went past Massey. When he got all these penalties for the car being too, the wing being too big, which they found out later it wasn't. I think it was something to do with the wing. It was off about 1 millimeter, not even that. And they gave him all these penalties through the week, and they done their best for Lewis Hamilton to not finish that race in Brazil of 2021. They done everything in their power possible to stop Sir Lewis Hamilton. Sir. And when he won that race, after Max Verstappen ran him wild about a mile off the track, when he actually won the race, at the end, one of the stewards, went up to Lewis Hamilton, gave him the Brazilian flag, and he said to him, this is quote, he said to him, I bet you wish you would have had that Brazilian flag all season. Basically implying that the Brazilian flag gives you good luck. And Lewis Hamilton went round that track, the winning lap, the victory lap, with that Brazilian flag. And I said on my video, my race day video, I said Lewis Hamilton is now a national hero of Brazil. I said that on my podcast before all these guys are coming out and these girls are saying it now about, he's a hero. I said it in 2021. Go back and watch my video. The evidence is there. I'm not lying. I don't need to lie. The evidence is on my channel. 2021 Brazilian Grand Prix. Go and watch it. So now Lewis Hamilton is a citizen of Brazil. Rightfully deserved. I think when he done his speech, he said, this is for Ayrton Senna. He said when he was 5 years old, when he saw Ayrton Senna, this is what Lewis Hamilton said. When he saw Ayrton Senna as a kid, when he was 5 years age, racing on the TV, that's when he looked at the TV and that's when the light bulb went off in his head. The light bulb went off in his head and said, that's what I want to do. Because his hero was Ayrton Senna, the GOAT of Formula One. The GOAT. And that's when he looked at Ayrton Senna, when he saw him on TV and he said to his dad, that's what I want to do. So many years later, he's now an 8-time world champion. And talking about 8-time world champion, when he got his award, his citizenship, and he had his certificate and everything, The person who done it, the guy in charge, I don't know if he was the president of Brazil. It was someone important. He says, he started talking in Brazilian. I didn't understand it, but someone translated it. And he said to Lewis Hamilton, he goes, look, Lewis Hamilton, 8-time world champion. 8. He didn't stutter. He said, Lewis Hamilton, 8-time world champion. And Lewis Hamilton had the biggest grin on his face. It didn't look like he was upset. It didn't look like, I like to say you shouldn't have said that. He had a big smile on his face, and he didn't correct him. He just let him talk and said, Lewis Hamilton, 8-time world champion. And I'm glad someone with authority, someone with power, who knows about the motorsport, who's not in the motorsport bubble, came out and said it. Because he's only saying what all of us are thinking. Very simple. And that stood out for me. That was what I wanted to talk about. I'm so happy for Lewis Hamilton. If Senna was here now, imagine if Senna was here now. Ayrton Senna was here right now with Lewis Hamilton side by side with each other. Ayrton Senna and Lewis Hamilton together with that Brazilian flag. Imagine if we saw that now. I know that's all false up. We know this. But imagine if we could see that right now. That would be an amazing picture, an amazing event, witnessing history. And it's just a shame. It is a shame that Ayrton Senna's not here, but he's in there. He's in heaven, and he's looking down on Lewis Hamilton, I'm sure. Now, there's some other news. Well, it's not always fact because he actually said it. He said, I'm talking about Anthony Davidson. If you don't know who Anthony Davidson is, he's the official sim racer. He tests the official sim racer for Mercedes. I'm not talking about the esport geeks. I'm talking about the proper simulator. The ones that Mercedes use to try and get their car up to scratch for race day and qualifying. He's their simulator driver. He said in the news this week, he said, the only person who's going to come close, the only person what can beat Max Verstappen is Lewis Hamilton. Now, a lot of people are going to come out and say, yeah, of course. And obviously you're going to get the haters who are going to say, you know what? Nah, Max is the best. These are the clueless idiots. They know nothing about Formula 1. 22 accounts on Twitter, standard. They're going to say, nah, it's not going to be Lewis Hamilton. Max is going to win again. But for all the people that like Lewis Hamilton, which I like Lewis Hamilton, I thought when I heard that it was a little bit disrespect to George Russell. Because George Russell's going to have the same car. He's going to be in the same car, same machinery. Obviously, it's going to be different mechanics. And he's not going to have Bono in his ear. But I was thinking, you know what? He might have a point there. Could it be like they're doing Red Bull? Red Bull, we all know, regarding Red Bull, Max Verstappen is their main driver. And Helmut Marko, quote, he said this week, he said, quote, he said, people just have to accept that whoever drives with Max Verstappen at the Red Bull, that Max Verstappen's going to be the fastest. That's what Helmut Marko said, word for word. Now, do you really believe that? Or maybe it's the fact that Max Verstappen gets all the best strategy, all the best mechanics, and it doesn't matter. And obviously, when it comes to race day, I guarantee they'll pick Checo first to be the wingman for Max Verstappen. So when you actually look at the strategy, that the strategy is going to work out better for Max Verstappen. It could be like that. Or you might get some people going to say, nah, Max Verstappen's just faster. I'm not really sure about that. I'm really on the fence. I think they're similar drivers. I think if Checo got the same love and support and the strategy like Max Verstappen gets, I think Checo would have a chance to win the title as well. That's just my opinion. But going back to Mercedes, I thought that was a little bit disrespect to George Russell. I think that might be hurting George Russell a little bit. He's not going to come out and say that, well, what about me? Because he's still new in Mercedes. He still has to watch the line. He has to toe the line until basically Lewis Hamilton wins that 8th world title. Because that's what he's waiting for. In my opinion, if Lewis Hamilton wins that 8th world title next year, if not next year, the year after, if he wins that 8th world title, Russell's going to say, right, all gloves are off now. This guy, Lewis Hamilton, he was my idol. I respect him. But at the end of the day, he's got his 8th world title. Won more championships than anyone. Now it's my turn. This is why I think the way it's going to go. And I think they've already talked about this. Look, we all know when the helmet goes on, it's completely different. But I think they've kind of worked this out between themselves. That Lewis Hamilton, I'm not saying that Lewis Hamilton can't beat Russell on his own. He's already proved that already. He's out-qualified Russell and beat Russell in nearly every race since the summer break. Since that car got up to scratch. Let's face it, in the first half of the season, Lewis Hamilton in that car, right, that car was undrivable. And the only time that George Russell actually beat him is because of the 3 safety cars in 3 separate races. So let's get that straight first. But when it comes down to raw qualifying and race speed since the summer break, Lewis Hamilton's has had the better out of George Russell. Fact. I'm not making it up. Check the numbers. Go online. Check the numbers. Go and watch the races again. Trust me. So, that was a bit interesting for me. That Anthony Davidson said that. But that's the way it is. Now, let's look at the FIA. This made me laugh. I want to just say one thing. Where was this awareness? Where was this news when Lewis, for the past 10 years, past 12 years, but he gets more racist comments, more abuse than anyone in Formula One. He gets more hate towards him than anyone. Lewis Hamilton doesn't say nothing. He gets on with it. He's a positive guy. He just blows it off. But where was this love for Lewis Hamilton? I'm going to show you this now. Everyone in our sport, from the media, teams, drivers and fans, has a role to play, really. We cannot ignore this. I urge the entire motorsport ecosystem to take a stand. We must call it out. It has to stop. Mohammed Ben Salam. I agree with this statement. 100% agree with it. But where the fuck was this statement when Lewis Hamilton was getting that racist abuse put at him? Where was the statement after Abu Dhabi 2021 when I've never saw so much abuse and racist chants in Italy a couple of years ago when it was all dressed up as black people, when they had paint on the face? Where was that statement then? That statement was nowhere to be seen. Abu Dhabi 2021, everyone was calling him, I'm not even going to, the M word. No statement. The list continues. Nobody suffers more abuse than Lewis Hamilton than anybody on that grid. Nobody. I mean, no statement from the FIA saying, we should not do that towards Lewis Hamilton. This is wrong. We should stamp races out. Only because when Lewis Hamilton brought out the Black Lives Matter, which the FIA hated, because he brought awareness to Black Lives Matter to the F1 community. Because we all know that the F1 is a rich man's sport. If you don't think it's a rich man's sport, you're delusional. Utter delusional. But what I'm saying is there was none of these flyers going around saying we need to stamp it out. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. But you know the reason why they're doing this? You know the reason why they are doing this? They do it for Red Bull. They do it for Max. They cater to Red Bull. Because Ted Kravitz said a few home truths that Red Bull did not agree with. They said, what we're going to do? We're going to boycott. We're going to boycott the weekend. We're not going to talk to no media. We're not going to talk to Sky Sports. Because we don't like what they said. And because The Sky Sports, I heard in the week, Sky Sports are trying to speak to Red Bull and say, look, we're sorry, I don't hear nothing from Ted Kravitz, by the way. I just say Sky Sports as a whole, trying to cater to Red Bull. And this is why they brought this statement out about we need to stomp it out. There was none of this for Lewis Hamilton. There was none of it for the past 10 years when there was racist comments online towards Lewis Hamilton. There was none of it. But now, all of a sudden now, because of the Red Bull thing, because Max got a bit upset, because Ted Kravitz told him the truth, now we're getting this geezer, man. This guy needs to just stop talking. Please do yourself a favour. Shut your mouth. Very simple. I see Hamilton as the stronger challenger for 2023. Oh yeah, by the way, Marco, it is Sir Lewis Hamilton. Not Lewis Hamilton. He got knighted in 2021. So you now address Lewis Hamilton as Sir. If you're not going to address him as Sir, keep his name out of your crusty lips. So he says, I see Hamilton as a stronger challenger for the 2023. You don't say. He has a clear advantage in terms of experience. He can motivate himself incredibly well. And also, I'm also convinced that Mercedes will put a better car on the track next year. This guy needs to come off Twitter. This guy needs to stop talking. He needs to stop talking to the media. He needs to just go away and take your retirement early. Get out. Nobody wants you here. All you are is toxic for Formula One. That's all you are, is toxic. We don't want you here. They're the reason why the hate started more in 2021. Christian Horner and Red Bull and Marco. It started before Silverstone, but it all started, the hate, when it really stepped up, was when it was at Silverstone. When he was saying that Hamilton knew what he was doing. You can't put a car in cups. Two cars don't fit in cups, which he was wrong, by the way, because in the same race after, Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton both got 3 cups fine. It was Max's fault, by the way. And that's what started the hate. That's when it was hate at the beginning of the season, but Silverstone 2021 is when it stepped up. And I remember when Ted Kravitz was interviewing him after the race, and you could see on Christian Horner's face that he wanted to say that N-word. It was written all over his face. Written all over it. And he was so hateful, and he that's what kicked up the hate towards Lewis Hamilton that year. And again, there was no statements from the FIA about we need to stop the hate. Anyway. That's it, man. That's episode 43 of the Flaming Tarmac. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Like this video. Get it out in the algorithm. You know the deal. Get it out in the algorithm. Let people see this video. Let's get this channel growing. We need to get this channel growing. We need the views on the video. Hopefully you can view the video and like the video. Be much appreciated. If you want to listen to me, I'm on iTunes. I've just uploaded some more podcasts on my iTunes for audio, so you can catch me on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Music, all the platforms, even all the platforms that you listen to your audio podcast. I am on there. Solo P1 F1 reviews. I'm on there. Leave a review on iTunes. It helps out with iTunes as well. Let's get this channel going. As you can see, I'm in my nightgown. If you want a nightgown like this, look, Amazon, man. It's an Amazon job. 25 quid this cost. I've had this nightgown for years and it keeps me warm. Now the cold setting in, the cold nights, this will get you through. It's even got a hood as well. Here's my hood there. See? There's the hood. There you go. £25 on Amazon. Go get it, man. Don't spend your money on some expensive nightgown which you don't need. Just go and get a £25 one. That's all you need. £25, man. Nice and warm. What am I talking about? Nightgown. Anyway, this is Solo P1 signing out. Episode 43. Go and follow me on Twitch, Twitter. All the links in the description below. This is Solo P1 signing out. No!